You ever notice how the world feels crowded, yet somehow you're still fighting alone? You talk, but no one listens. You break, but no one notices. You give everything and still end up with nothing. It took me years to understand this truth. No one is your friend, not until you rise. People love to stand beside you when you're shining. But when you're struggling, when you're tired, when you're drowning, everyone disappears like smoke in the wind. I learned that the hard way. When I was younger, I tried so hard to be accepted. I thought maybe if I smiled enough, if I worked hard enough, if I proved myself enough, someone would stay. Someone would care. Someone would say, "You're not alone." But no one did. No one stood beside me. No one defended me. No one called me a friend, and that's when it hit me. Not all pain destroys you, some pain wakes you up. Pain opened my eyes, loneliness hardened my heart, and silence taught me everything. People don't betray you. They reveal what they really are. They don't leave you. They show you where they stand. And they don't ignore you by accident. They ignore you because they don't think you matter. But that's exactly why you rise. Not because you want to be accepted, but because you finally realize you don't need anyone to become powerful. I stopped begging for friendship. I stopped craving validation. I stopped waiting for someone to save me. I decided that if the world wasn't going to stand by me, then I'd become someone who didn't need a world to stand at all. You want to know a secret? People respect strength they never helped build. They cheer for victories they never fought for. They love success they never contributed to. That's why rising alone is your greatest weapon. Because no one can take credit for your journey. No one can claim your scars. No one can rewrite your story. Everything you build in silence becomes unstoppable. Everything you learn in loneliness becomes unbreakable. Everything you survived without help becomes unforgettable. You think you're alone because you're weak. But you're alone because you're becoming too strong for small minds to handle. People distance themselves when they can't understand your discipline, your hunger, your vision. You're outgrowing people who never planned to grow at all. Listen carefully. You don't need people who only appear when you shine. You need to become someone who shines even in the dark. You don't need false friends who leave when things get hard. You need to realize that walking alone is better than walking with people who slow you down. Because when you rise alone, that's when you rise the highest. When you suffer alone, that's when you learn the most. And when you win alone, that's when the world finally understands the power of someone they ignored. You're not meant to fit in, you're meant to stand out. You're not meant to be surrounded. You're meant to be sharpened. You're not meant to be understood. You're meant to be feared. Let them talk. Let them walk away. Let them pretend they don't see your effort. Let them doubt. Let them laugh. Let them stay silent. Because someday soon, they'll realize the mistake they made. Someday soon, they'll see the strength you forged without them. And someday soon, they'll wish they treated you differently. But by then, you won't need their friendship. You'll have something far greater, yourself. You want to know the second truth I learned? People don't fail you, expectations do. You expect loyalty. You expect support. You expect honesty. You expect someone to stay when everything is falling apart. But life isn't built on expectations. Life is built on reality. And the reality is this. Most people only come close when they need something and walk away when you do. I used to believe friendship meant standing by each other. I used to believe bonds were unbreakable. I used to believe that if I cared enough, someone would care back. But the world doesn't work that way. The world teaches you through disappointment. It teaches you through absence. It teaches you through people who promise everything and give nothing. And I learned something ruthless. When you need people the most, that's exactly when they vanish. Not because you're unworthy, not because you're weak, but because your struggle doesn't benefit them. Your pain doesn't entertain them. Your silence doesn't serve them. People don't walk away because you're empty. They walk away because they can't use you anymore. And that's why rising alone is not a punishment. It's protection. It's the universe removing the noise. It's the world taking away what would have held you back. It's life teaching you the most important skill you'll ever learn: how to depend on no one but yourself. You see, when you rise with people supporting you, they can claim they helped. But when you rise alone, every piece of your strength is yours. Every victory is yours. Every lesson is yours. Every scar is yours. Every transformation is yours. And that's what makes you dangerous. Because the person who learns, suffers, grows, and rises alone becomes untouchable. You want proof. Look at every moment in my life where something changed. Every moment where I grew stronger. Every moment where I refused to give up. I was alone, alone on the swing, alone in the empty apartment, alone during the exams, alone in the eyes of the entire village, alone every time someone called me a monster. And yet I didn't break. I sharpened, I hardened, I evolved. You think loneliness is a weakness. Loneliness is a forge. It melts you, bends you, breaks you, reshapes you until you become someone no one can replace. People fear the ones who rise alone because they know something. You weren't built by compliments. You weren't built by support. You weren't built by applause. You were built by pain, and pain. Built people don't fall easily. They don't get manipulated. They don't get controlled. They don't get broken. They get focused. You ever notice how silence becomes your best friend after a while? How being alone starts to feel like clarity instead of punishment? How the people you once begged for attention from begin to look small? That's growth. That's evolution. That's you becoming someone new. People who once ignored you, one day they'll watch you succeed in disbelief. People who left you when you needed them, one day they'll come back pretending they always cared. People who doubted you, one day they'll fear the strength you built from their doubt. But the best part, you won't need them. You won't chase them. You won't even think about them. Because when you rise alone, you stop caring who clapped. You stop caring who stayed. You stop caring who left. You start caring about one thing: becoming the strongest version of yourself. And that's why you're being pushed into this solitude right now. Not because you're unlovable, not because you're meant to suffer, not because you're destined to fail, but because you're meant to become someone they can't handle, someone they can't control, someone they can't manipulate, someone they can't break. You're being forced to grow beyond them, forced to rise without them, forced to see that the path you're walking isn't wide enough for people who were never meant to stay. And when you finally reach the top, when you finally feel the strength in your chest, when you finally look at yourself and think, "I made it," you'll understand something beautiful. You weren't alone. You were being built. You weren't abandoned. You were being refined. You weren't rejected. You were being redirected. Everything you went through every night alone, every betrayal, every heartbreak, every disappointment, it wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you, because people don't rise when they are surrounded. They rise when there's no one left to rely on. So if you feel like no one is your friend right now, good. That's the universe telling you it's time. Time to grow, time to evolve, time to prove to yourself what you're capable of, time to become the person no one expected you to be. Rise alone, not because you have to, but because when you do, no one will ever be able to pull you down again. You know what hurts the most, not the punches, not the betrayals, not the loneliness that eats you alive when the world goes silent. It's realizing that the people you thought were with you were only with you when it was easy. Naruto lifts his head, eyes burning with a fire born from a lifetime of being abandoned. He says, I used to believe everyone could be my friend. I used to think people stayed because they cared. But reality taught me something else. He takes a slow breath, voice trembling with power. People don't stay for you. They stay for what they can take from you. He looks ahead, fists tightening. The moment you stop giving, they stop showing up. He steps forward, and for a long time, I blamed myself, thought something was wrong with me, thought I wasn't strong enough, good enough, or worth enough. He shakes his head. But the truth is simple. You rise alone, because choosing yourself is the first step to becoming unstoppable. The wind howls like a warning or a promise. You want strength. Stop waiting for someone to save you. No one is coming. No one is built for your battles. Only you are. He points at the ground beneath his feet. This pain, this loneliness, it's not your prison. It's your training. A small smile appears, not soft, but sharp, forged through struggle. They left you good. Now you have room to grow. His chakra flares, raw and intimidating. Rise alone, walk alone, win alone. And when you're standing at the top, the same people who ignored you will pretend they always believed in you. He turns slightly, eyes looking straight into the soul, but you'll know the truth. You didn't rise because of them. You rose in spite of them. Naruto lifts his head toward the horizon, the future. So get up, not for them, not for friends, for you. And then become the person no one thought you could be. If these words hit you, if something inside you woke up today, don't let it fade. Rise alone. Let your pain build you. Subscribe for more fire. Your comeback starts now.
I'm done letting you control me! Lend me your power!
Foolish little human. You are nothing without me.